Oh my God. Okay, now I'm live everywhere. So, right. It's really funny, the whole thing with the dance, because I didn't even know I did it until one time Jill was like, "You always do this little dance when you start your streams." And I'm like, "What dance?" And she's like, "You kind of bop to the side." She keeps saying she's going to make a montage of it, and she never does. So I feel like Jill should be encouraged to make a montage of the dance. So all of you who are watching the replay, I want you to comment whether or not you think Jill should make a montage of the dance and tag her as well. Make sure that she has no choice but to watch that. Okay. I am just getting the everyone post in. I was on the wrong user when I joined from my other screen. And this time, like a pro, I have the text ready. Add everyone. It's lunch with Mal. I'll capitalize that. I feel like lunch with Mal is like a title now. It deserves capitalization. All right, so there we go. We're live. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I was like all ready to be on time, but then I was eating beef jerky and it was all in my teeth, so I had to deal with that. And as usual, I'm eating trail mix for lunch with Mal, but Jill has informed me that I probably shouldn't have nuts while I'm doing it, because apparently I make a lot of crunchy when I have nuts during lunch with Mal. Hello, Rosa. How are you today? And hi, everybody else who has just arrived or is arriving or is watching the replay. I am, as always, glad to have you, and still always blown away by how many people watch the replay. Hey, Jill. No, not so beef jerky. Well, I had a raisin. Can I have a raisin? Will that be okay, honey? I hope so. I'm a little bit late because I was shopping. Hey, Kyle. How you doing? Hey, Judith. Nice to see you. I was I was looking for more clothes as per usual. Although today I did order new seedling trays, and it's really cool. These seedling trays actually have lights built in on the top of the tray, like the dome. There's a light in there, so I don't have to worry about like stringing up my more advanced lights, which is awesome. I'll probably just have those on all the time. I'm going to try and start these seedlings in my greenhouse in February. We'll see how well that works. I got heating mats as well to put under them, because really the important thing with seedlings is the soil needs to be warm. So if I can use the heating mats to keep the soil warm even at night, I think I'll be in a good place to actually get those things taken up. It's okay this time. Yes, I do have a clothes shortage. Jill is absolutely right. I feel the need to show everybody the clothing that I was looking at while we kind of wait to get things rolling. All right, so I found this jacket, which I'm super excited about. Let me just change my layout. Cancel. Oh goodness, there's like fancy, complicated layout changing stuff now. There we go. I think it's really cool. I want this jacket. And the thing that really got me looking though was this top. I am stoked for this top. Like, look at this thing. This is gorgeous. So I want this top, and it's not cheap though. So I'm going to have to save up for that. But then I also, while I was wandering around, saw this dress with this really cool geometric pattern, and they must take like matte textured latex that's in different, and then like cut it at different angles somehow. I don't know. But yeah, even when it shines, you can really see that look. I like that a lot. I want that. I wish it had it on the back too, but that would probably bump up the cost of this dress quite a bit. So anyway, that is where I was at with that. Maybe get rid of some things to make new things. Was that Jill that said that? She's like trying to trigger me. Yeah, look at that. Trying to trigger me. I'm getting a new closet, set up, put in place. I'll be able to store everything. Probably not. We'll see. I might make some hard choices. Yes. The motivation to work harder Windows Shopathon. Must work harder to make money to buy more things. Wait. I think I just described everything. I've got this strange little reflection on my face. Where is that coming from? Trying to see if I can like maybe block that. Man, it's like I don't even know where it's. Ah, there it is. It's coming from over there. Haha. Oh, I just moved it. We'll just have to survive with me having a strange little reflection mustache going on here during this thing. So yeah, I've got a lot to talk about today, and I'm glad that everybody has shown up and you're hanging out here. Luckily, I put all my topics in the description, in the title, so I'll be able to see everything. I thought you... No, you don't have this one. That's right. Yeah, this is one of my favorite cat suits. I haven't worn it in a while, and I especially love that it's front zip because I'm not a huge fan of back zip cat suits for all sorts of reasons. I don't actually find it that hard to do back zips, but one, I just like, sometimes I'm hot and I want to be able to open up. And the other one is if you have a lot of back zip things and they have a long zipper, every time you lean forward, you know, the zipper pulls tight on the back and then it pulls on your neck. And I don't like that either. So, well, that's good. I'm glad you don't see a reflection. I know, honey, and you're right. Or Jill say this, I do need to make my closet easier to organize so I can keep the room cleaner and feel more zen about the whole thing. That's kind of the whole point. Hello, Luna. How are you? So there is a lot to talk about in Writerland. Oh, wait, no, there was one more thing I want to talk about. I ordered some Lego recently, and I can't remember if this was like a quick little add-on I clicked on or if they sent it to me for free. I guess Lego probably doesn't send a lot of Lego for free, so I probably did click on this. It's my cute little Year of the Dragon Lego dragon. Isn't he adorable? He's like the cutest little doozer, and he can also come off of his cloud and fly away from his cloud if you want him to. So he's now my little mascot that's going to sit with me here as we go through Chinese New Year. It's super adorable. All right, so let's kick it off. What are we talking about? Who said Happy Thursday? That's Mona. Hey, Mona. Happy Thursday to you too. All right. So first up, there is a February slump that a lot of people are seeing. I'm sure that just about everybody here has seen a bit of the February slump in the sales. I'm trying to see if I can share just like a region of my screen. Oh, I know what I can do. I can take a screenshot and share just the screenshot. So because there was a weird thing that happened this year or this February, right on February 1st. I'm not seeing it for everyone, but I'm seeing it for a lot of our clients. And for some of them, it's more pronounced than others. So let's show that. I have people asking me to put on my gas mask from Facebook. It's like, no, I cannot put on my gas mask. That will make it really hard to do this. Here we are, sharing the right screen. Okay, so you can see this one isn't super pronounced. It was the one I just happened to grab, but some of you might, if you look at your attribution, you might see a massive dip on February 1st in your reads. And that dip is only visible in Amazon attribution tracking. It's not apparent in Facebook. It's not like everybody's Facebook accounts just didn't deliver the clicks on the 1st. I checked a bunch of them and the Facebook was delivering just as many clicks. AMS just missed a whole bunch of them on that day. So what I'm kind of thinking is like, we're kind of in this scenario right now where I'm a little bit untrusting of the early February data. I've actually watched with a couple of client accounts a lot of information backfill. So keep that in mind, that don't make any drastic decisions based on attribution tracking data that you see in the AMS system right now, because it's very clear that some data was missed. And I would not be surprised that if some click data was missed, that also some reads and sales data was also missed. So steel yourself. If you think things, if you look at KDP and you're like, well, KDP is down quite a bit as well, that's fine. But if KDP kind of looks like maybe only a small dip, then I wouldn't take drastic action on anything until maybe Monday or Tuesday, if that works for you. So yeah, and not everybody's seeing a February slump. I am seeing it with a lot of people though. And part of it is, it's got a cough. Part of it is that ad costs come up a bit in February. January is like the golden time of year where ads are super cheap, and then ad costs creep up a bit in February, and we're going to fluctuate through the end of winter and in spring. So if your revenue is very ad driven, you will see a little bit of a decrease in sales because your ads are simply costing more, so you're getting fewer clicks for your money. So there's that in there as well. But like good advertising, definitely is going to keep you going if you've got that going on. There we go. Oh goodness. I had someone asking me to put my gas mask on YouTube, and I just clicked the button to put them in timeout, and it banned them and removed their comments. So there's that. Maybe I'll go unban them later. I'm not like upset. I'm just like trying to do something else right now, guy. But anyway, that's something to keep in mind, that there is a bit of a slump. So, but who said, someone said they're enjoying a great February. Who was that? Oh, that's awesome, Marie. Congratulations. So this Tuesday, like, so 2 days ago, congrats on starting a new series too. That is the thing to do, like in the times when you're seeing, when you know things will be down, that's a great time to plan your releases and whatnot. And then plan your marketing. And, because that's going to help you maintain a more consistent income. Now, if you can if you could predict the future and weather all of the downtimes and then always only do releases in the good times, you might do better, but predicting the future is really difficult. So I personally like to put releases into down periods where I know I might need something to bolster myself a little bit. Is there any similarity with genre for the slump? No, I don't think so. It's a little bit tricky to tell because like 80% of the clients we work with are romance. So I'm trying to think of the non-romance authors, but no, I've seen it in some of our thriller authors as well. And although I was working with a sci-fi author yesterday, I didn't see it with them, but that was just one sci-fi author. So I can't say for sure if it's genre related. One of the things I'm doing, you might have seen Jill doing some posting about it, is we're hiring more ad analysts for our team. And what that's going to free me up to do is to do a little more big picture stuff where I can kind of take a step back and say, like, is there some sort of trend that we're seeing across multiple accounts, versus kind of always being in the weeds with stuff. So I'm stoked. Yeah, I think I saw it with mine as well. I did see a slump with mine. Although my personal sci-fi is not a good barometer right now because I'm doing everything direct sales. So it's different. Recently heard that people shut off ads when a certain series have a new release, although I haven't heard it from the RPG. Like maybe I would never shut off ads when people have a certain release. Like, no, there's like any genre out there, even lit RPG has 1 million readers, and none of us are selling 1 million books on a new release. So there's always more readers out there, way more readers out there. I would never turn off ads. That sort of thing is like a defensive scarcity mindset move, and I don't really go with that sort of thing. There are always more readers willing to read your book. You just have to figure out how to find them. I guess if I had like super narrow targeting, well, this was Jill that said we've seen it historically, so she's talking about my ads. Yes, I don't know if we saw like a beginning of February slump all the time. I know February was always down because it's shorter. So like you look at February and you're like, oh, woe is me. I made a couple thousand less in February or something like that, or a couple hundred less, whatever, sort of depending on what your scale is. But a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, and it's 3 days shorter than January. So that's the thing. The other thing that happens at the beginning of the month, it's always good to remember, is that for the first 5 days of each month, Amazon really pushes their Prime reading really hard. So the first, what's it called? First, they have a name that comes with first. That's what they do that pushing. Oh, that's good, honey. Yay. But anyway, first is free. I wish I could remember the name. First reads. Thank you. Jill knows these things. So it's the first reads that they push for their Prime reading, and that's done really heavily in the first 5 days of every month. So a lot of times we will see dips if there's some really yummy stuff. And also Dean Koontz released a book at the beginning of this month, which might be why I'm seeing it in thrillers and maybe more of this mystery suspense and mystery thrillers I advertise. A bit more of a dip there too. So that's a possible factor as well. But like I said, like if you're always like working defensively and thinking about who's releasing what and what's happening and is it first reads time a month and all that, you're instead of looking for opportunity, you're looking for where to always scale back. And I don't think that's a good way to operate. Your best defense is always a strong offense. So rather than scaling back and diminishing yourself, go harder, go bigger, do more things, plan your releases, release an omnibus, roll out a reader magnet and make it free and do a bunch of shares on that or something. So there's always lots of things to do to offset that sort of thing. And that's I'm sure everybody's familiar knows about the whole scarcity mindset thing, right? Like the idea that there's only so much pie, and the pie gets more expensive, and it can get more expensive. And in a way, there is only so much pie because there's only so many humans and whatnot. But there's when it comes to any one of us individually, there's sort of an infinite amount of pie that's out there. It's only when you think of the whole that you're like, well, actually, there's only so many people, so much time in the day. But really, when it comes to any one of us individually, we can find readers who are looking for something to read at any time. They're always out there. And anytime you scale back and slow down and diminish yourself, you lose momentum. And momentum is the hardest thing to get back. Yeah, the pie is pretty damn big. Exactly, Delta. It's a big freaking pie. So it's all about abundance mindset and thinking about more. When you point yourself into, when you think about the negative aspects and dialing back and scarcity and whatnot, you point yourself in that direction, where that's what you're thinking about and that's what you're focused on. Whereas if you think about the abundance that's out there, now you're pointing yourself in a direction where you're focusing on growth and expansion and whatnot. And that colors everything you do. It affects everything you do. Subconsciously or consciously, either way it does it. So that's why I maintain a positive outlook, because I'm kind of willing positivity into existence. Yes, manifesting abundance, exactly. Yeah. And whether you think of it as the way I describe it is, I sort of like phrase it as you move in the direction you're pointed in, just sort of as like some people will say like, oh, well, I don't believe in manifesting and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, well, set the whole concept of manifesting aside and just think about the fact that it's harder to walk backwards. So point yourself in the direction you want to go and walk forward. It's just going to work better. If you're walking backwards, you're always focused on things that you've done you always focus on the past and what can never be changed. Whereas when you point yourself towards the future and what can be changed, you're capable of changing it because you can't change the past. All right. I mean, unless someone out there has a time machine. And if you do, let me know, because I got some shit I need to take care of. So next up is I talked about, I briefly hit upon things you can do in downtimes when you have gaps in your publishing schedule, when you're worried about, I don't know if I want to do a release right before Christmas because I'm not sure I can put together the marketing juice for it. Great. That sounds like an awesome time to release some deleted scenes for your readers. Or do reader magnet or something like that, and focus on building your newsletter instead, doing more organic activities with other authors and stuff like that. And building your newsletter is one of the single most important things you can do. And it's not like immediately shiny and amazing, but it will produce dividends for eons, or years at least, maybe not eons. Eons in author time. In modern author time. I mean, author time used to be a slow measure of time, and now author time is a super fast measure of time. I think that everybody should have reader magnets. And a reader magnet, of course, is a shorter story. I recommend something between 10 and 18,000 words that showcases you as an author to people and will get them reading your stuff. Ideally, a good reader magnet takes place before one of your main anchor series. So it could be like a prequel to a main anchor series. And it has the same characters in it that are in your main anchor series. Now, sometimes that might be difficult because maybe book one is Academy, and your main character goes to school, uncovers this special ability, and off to the races we go. Before that, their life is mundane and boring, and no one's going to want to read about it because it's not going to contain the same tropes as the main story. Because that's the other thing, your reader magnet needs to exemplify the same tropes that are in your main writing. If you're trying to get everybody to get into your academy, your UF academy with, I don't know, MM romance, and you write a reader magnet that is sci-fi with MF romance, that's not going to work. Or even if you write something that's like modern women's fiction slice of life, That's also not going to work. It's got to be UF Academy MM. And if you can't get that to work for your main story, then write like the prequel with like the teachers or something like that, right? Last gen, kind of stuff, the prior generation, or maybe like another couple that's at the school, write their story. And only if they're major characters in the first book, but someone that's like an important character in the first book, write a bit of their origin stuff. So that way, at least when someone goes to book one, they're going to get this feeling of like, oh, I'm home. I know this place. I've been here and I know some secrets. Oh my God, yes, absolutely, Delta. Your free reader magnet needs professional editing. It needs professional covers. They're on trend. You want to show readers, you want to basically say readers like, hey, I've got what you're looking for. And your reader magnet on top of all of this needs to actually have a beginning, middle, and an end. It needs to deliver on the same feels and the same sort of climactic events that your main series does, because the whole thing is delivering on this, creating expectation and then delivering on that expectation. So don't do a reader magnet that ends at a meet cute, because that's not delivering on the feel that the reader wants. It has to end with an HEA, because if you're writing romance, in this example, because you want to say like, hey, I deliver HEA and it's going to give you the feels that you want to get. Yes, exactly. I think this is Jill. Yeah, this is Jill. So it reminds me, so my father used to be a funeral director. So I grew up with like a dad that, embalmed people and ran funerals. And if us kids wanted some cash, we would go and wash the limousines and the hearses and the funeral home vans and stuff like that. And my dad was so particular. There could not be a single water spot on those things when we were done. We had to wash them, wash them once, wash them again, rinse them twice, and then chamois them to make sure that they're just perfect. And one time I said to him, I'm like, Dad, like, why are you this persnickety? Like, surely no one is looking and seeing like that one random water spot over by the mirror or something like that. And he's like, for most people, they don't come to our funeral home. They don't come to our building. They don't see our facilities here. All they see are the cars. That's their only exposure to the funeral home until it comes time that they need to, book a funeral. He's like, I don't want them to think that we half-assed. Well, he didn't say half-assed, because my dad would never say that, but paraphrasing, he's like, I don't want them to think that we half-assed stuff. I want them to think that we always do things, even the small things, we give them the attention and focus that we will give them if they ever come to us for our services. And so that was really kind of a good thing to think about like that. And I think that applies to your reader magnet, right? Like, it's, in a morbid sense, it's your funeral home hearse, and it needs to look really good because it's their people's first exposure to you, and you need to show people that like, hey, you got it right with all the small things, so you're gonna get it right with the big things, versus them being like, well, they kind of like, I guess they give away for free and they just kind of slapdashed it and wasted my time, because time is actually the biggest thing that's going on here. Readers are trusting us with their time, and we have to deliver on that. And the worst thing you can do is make people feel like they've wasted time reading your story. So, polish, polish, polish. All right, Facebook user, this is Marie Ralph said, I'm currently finishing a short story that links 2 series with characters that pop up in both. So it can be used for brand new readers, but also for readers of the first series. So they have to keep reading. That is awesome. I love this. Also experimenting with bonus epilogues for my newsletter for each book to try and get readers on my newsletter that are fans. Yes. Excited to see what that does for me in the future. That is the strategy, right? You're grabbing new readers with the reader magnet. You put it out there. You'll do swaps. You'll do shares. Facebook ads work great for reader magnets as well. Put them up on BookFunnel. Run your Facebook ads to BookFunnel. Do all that. But yeah, you're right. Like, you need to then say like, okay, but what about for the people that have been reading me forever? What do I give them? I love the fact that you have this reader magnet that can do dual duty, and you could have it at the end of either series, I guess, depending on where people came in, and use that to pull them into the next series. And then also you can use it as a reader magnet for brand new people. That's what it sounds like what you've done here. Yeah, you said for brand new readers as well. So that's genius. That's something that can do, it has so much utility for you. And that is a really good way to think of it. I personally recommend, like, if at all possible, write the reader magnet before you write the series. That's a great thing to do. Because then chances are it's going to be foreshadowing and give backstory and will be just really good. And then also, yeah, bonus epilogues, deleted scenes, all that stuff. Get those people who've already read your reader magnet, but then, well, I guess got your reader magnet in some way where they didn't sign up, perhaps, or just never saw it, but aren't interested in going back. There are some people who aren't go back kind of people. So those deleted scenes and bonus epilogues and stuff like that, that's the way to grab those people. If you're writing a longer series too, then maybe like between books 4 and 5, you have a short story or something like that, so that your super invested readers, you get them all, right? They're like, they've made it to book 4, they're loving you, you've got great read through, you drop that short story that takes place between book 4 and book 5, tease it, link to it at the end of book 4, tease it at the beginning of book 5 that it happened, and you'll just suck up all of those readers and get them onto your list. And that is super duper clutch to do that. All right. Peter Foot, hi, waves from Canada. Yeah, that is bang on, Delta. You are doing it right. So keep that in mind, folks. You really want to get that reader magnet out there, and you want to use it in a way where you're getting as much like good, solid, organic interaction as possible, where you're not like, don't do like super low quality things like a thing with like a group author promo with 30 authors and your reader magnets in there, and then you get the email addresses at the end. I would save it for when it's much more valuable to be giving it out. But if you're doing some stuff with authors where you are all directly promoting each other's things, where you're all doing a bunch of swaps, and other people are gonna send out an email with a picture of your cover and a description of your book, and that might be like the only, or maybe one of only 2 or 3 things they're pimping in that email. That's what you want to be looking for. You want to be looking for those high quality interactions, the people that are gonna stick around. Can a reader magnet be used for both new readers as well as offering subscribers who've already had you for a while? Absolutely. And I think I answered that, Patricia, with when I was rambling on about like stuff like getting people who fitting something in between like book 4 and 5, for example, or something like that. So hopefully that answers that. Participate in an anthology, write something, use a reader magnet, expand into the first book of a new series. Yes, yeah, you're just dropping all the pearls here. Pearls of wisdom, Delta. That's absolutely something that you should do, and I do that every time. Every time I participate in an anthology, the thing I write is a reader magnet for a new series. And when that anthology comes out, you better believe that book 1 of that new series is up for pre-order. Okay, like 90% of the time, book 1 of that new series is up for pre-order. It's or maybe like if you're like, what, Mal, I want to write this series, but I really got to wrap some stuff up. I can't get a pre-order for it up right now. Then have it so that at the end of your story, it links to a notify me when the rest of this comes out page on your website, kind of thing, or something like that, which also can work as a newsletter sign up. So something like that. But be aware that you could write more in it, and that you grab people and pull them into that. All right. Rosa says, is there any secret sauce to lure those in who've read one of your books to click on the link in your book and sign up? Someone already become your reader. Is there verbiage that promotes clicking? It's going to be stuff about like secrets, backstory, what really happened, that kind of stuff works really well. A great thing to do is take a character and have them disappear for a little while. Partway through the book, they're just gone and unavailable. When they get back, they're like, dude, it's a long story, I'll tell you later, kind of thing. Bake that into your, do that sort of thing where you set up this hook in your story, and then you leave unanswered questions that this story that you wrote, that you're giving away for free, right? Like, you're not charging money for it. It's not like you're bait and switching people or anything like that. You're just giving them more. So do stuff like that pulls them in. The other thing you want to do is, after the words "the end" in your story, you need to, without a page break, 1 paragraph down, you need a link to the next book, and then you also you get 2 things you can put in there, no more than 2. Before the page break, you can do lots of things after the page break, but before the page break, you want to give people 2 options: next book or this extra content. And that needs to be like in the same paragraph, or maybe break it to 2 paragraphs, but right after the words "the end" is where you want to put that. And that's also how you'll get people. If there's a page break and it's on a next page and people are reading on their Kindle, chances are they'll never see it, because Amazon has already put up an ad for a book and they've clicked it, and they don't get to the rest of your back matter. Hey, Cithros, thank you. All right, at the end of each book, include an epilogue that leads to the next book, and then make sure the characters in the next book are in the current book. Yes, that's all about getting that read through happening. That's definitely the way to do it. I know some authors, what they do like Kate C. Wells. She does it so that every book has a bonus epilogue, and she makes a custom landing page on her website for each one of them. And then each book links to a custom landing page on her website. And since I build her website, I get email notifications for things. And I tell you, whenever she releases a new book, she gets hundreds of people downloading that bonus epilogue. And she's like made this nice tailor-made page, you know, and everything, and it does really well for her. So it's all really good stuff. So yeah, so I think that's definitely something that we should think about. The other thing that I think we all really, I'm harping on this, and you're probably like, Mal, we're tired of you talking about Shopify, but I'm going to talk about Shopify a little bit more because it is really important to start thinking about what your direct sales strategy looks like. How are you going to be capitalizing on this? Because I predict in 5 years, authors will be doing direct sales or perhaps author co-op websites or something like that far more than we're doing retailers. Retailers are going to be for people starting out who want to expand their reach as much as possible. But once you mature and you get a backlist and you want to make some more money, then it's going to be doing direct sales. And that's, you know, whether you get a course, whether you learn from me or you learn from like Morgana Best, or you take whatever course you find online, or you pour through tons of YouTube videos, you need to learn about direct sales. And right now, the easiest way to get into it is to use Shopify. Self-promo, I'm doing a Shopify class tomorrow. It's going to be 3 hours, and I'm going to build a Shopify website from beginning to end in 3 hours. And my goal with that is to make it less scary, to show you like, hey, these are the steps you can take to build a bare bones basic Shopify website that is not hard to make. So think, you know, if you're interested and you want to learn about that, there'll be a recording as well. So I talk fast, you'll be able to replay the recording and hear things again. Or if you can't make the whole thing or you can't make it at all, you'll be able to get the recording. And the whole goal is to be like, hey, this is all it takes. This is how you can make your own Shopify website with almost no money down. Almost you're gonna spend less than, I mean, depending on how savvy you are with graphics, you know, you could spend less than $3 to get this thing up and running, but you'll probably spend less than $20 to get a Shopify store up and running for 90 days. And that's going to get you the opportunity to start playing around with direct sales. Yeah, it'd be cool if someone built along. It's Jill that said that. Jill's going to build one along with me. I am going to cheat at one point. I'm going to have a site that's sort of pre-populated because no one wants to sit there and watch me add like 5 or 6 books in a row. So we're going to kind of skip that. I'm going to go through the first part, setting up a website, adding my first product to it, and then we'll sort of jump to a website I've already made that has 5 or 6 products in it. So I can talk about some next step things you do. So if you were to load it up with like all of your books, it might take you more than 3 hours, or it would take you more than 3 hours probably, but not too much more. So Marie asks, how many book series do you think you need before starting direct sales? I'm only releasing my second series now, so I think this will be my future at some point. You know, I know some authors who did it at 5 books. They pulled out a KU and they went into Shopify. That is a bit of a unicorn situation. It's not my general recommendation, but I think that perhaps if you have 3 series, it might be enough. You know, one that you can keep in KU to keep using as a way to attract readers, and then one that you, or then 2 that you can then move over to Shopify. I know this one author, she wrote an entire series. It's 5 books long, and she had only ever released them on Patreon. They've never been on any retailer. We put them up on Shopify, and they are selling like hotcakes. It's crazy how well they're doing. So there's a lot of cool options that you can get into there. Some authors want to go hybrid. So with one author, what we're planning out is a system where she's going to release her books on Shopify first, 2 weeks before they come out in the retailers. And then she'll put them in on Amazon and into KU for 90 days. And then she'll pull them out of KU and make them wide. And that's her strategy for all of her new stuff. She is going to keep one anchor series in KU that she'll use to sort of capture people and drive them to everything else. But she's going to like make that shift over to Shopify and direct sales. So there's a lot of strategies that you could engage in to do that. But I think, like I said, in 5 years, if you're listening to me right now and you plan on publishing even just a couple books a year, in 5 years, you're going to have a Shopify store. Or maybe something else will come along that's better, but you're going to have a direct sales setup of some sort happening. I can almost guarantee it. And I'm not to pat myself on the back too much. I was like doing it like this is not patting that's in the shoulder, Mal. You gotta get around here. It was like I've told the story before, but Jill always says you can tell stories again because lots of new people show up to listen to these. A couple of years ago at NINC, I was at a round table and we were talking about what the next big changes in publishing are. And everybody was talking about like small things. And I'm like, no, in 10 years, we won't need retailers anymore. The whole paradigm will shift and it'll be gone. We'll be moving away from retailers into some other way of distributing books. At that time, I thought it might be some sort of like torrent style situation where like torrents combined with cryptocurrency. That will, of course, require cryptocurrency and blockchain stuff to improve to the point where it doesn't sound terrifying when someone mentions it. But something will happen where we can just completely bypass the retailers and people can just grab your books and you just magically get paid. Like I envision a system where all books are in some sort of KU thing and you just magically get paid. That might take more than 10 years, but I do think that that's the next big paradigm shift, right? Because the first paradigm shift was away from the publishers. We went from having agents and publishers between the author and the reader to now only having a retailer between the author and the reader. And I think the next step is already becoming the removal of that retailer and authors being able to do direct sales in some fashion. And that technology will evolve and improve as time goes on. So I think that's what my crystal ball says. And I'm sticking to it. And of course, this is also the year of AI. So we've got all of that to navigate as well. But I think that AI is, I think it's a red herring by and large. I think it's mostly just a red herring. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact because I think that like what most of us authors are doing is already very bespoke creative work, and it'll continue to be, a very bespoke sort of situation. People are going to want stories with a human touch. They're not going to want like AI-based stories. We might find places like Wattpad flooded with them and stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to have an effect on us. I just keep playing with my little dragon. For those of you who didn't see, this is my little Lego dragon, Year of the Dragon. I got it when I ordered some other Lego. And like I said, I don't remember if I actually decided to purchase this or if they gave it to me for free or if it was some sort of like click this and get it for $5 thing. But yeah, you might want to check it out. It came from lego.com. So a little Year of the Dragon doozer here. And he comes off his cloud if you want to decloud him to fly him around. Oh, he doesn't really fly because he doesn't have wings, but he still can sail through the air. He still has magical powers. So he does have saxophones on his head. That's how they did the horns. They are literally saxophones, and nothing I can do can cause me to not see those as saxophones. Like, there's saxophones on his head. Come on, guys. Surely there were other horns we could have used here. All right, so I feel like I've talked about all the things I want to talk about today. It's a lot. If you want the link to the Shopify class that we're doing tomorrow, Jill will put it in the comments, I hope. Or you can DM me or Jill for that link to sign up for it. It's not a very big class. I think we've only got like 6 or 7 people coming to it, which is cool. I'm down with that because I think it's worth it for folks to know it, and I think everybody that comes is going to learn some pretty cool stuff and learn that it's not scary. And like I said, the Shopify is a thing right now where if you sign up, it's only $1 a month for the first 3 months. So you can actually set it up and play around with it and maybe like put something up there, like put a new release up there, and then release it to your newsletter early, like as a way to see how it works. And I tell you, one of the things you're going to love about Shopify is you get your money in 3 days, not 2 to 3 months. And that can really accelerate you, because that's one of the hardest things with like building your business right now is like you want to do advertising, you want to do paid promo, you want to do all these things, like even releasing a book, right? Like all this expense on editing and cover and whatnot. And Amazon is tacking on another 2 to 3 months onto when you get your money back, and then before you can reinvest it in your business. And when you do something like direct sales, that changes to 3 days, and then you can reinvest it in your business. You can pay your credit card bill off before it even shows up if you're running a lot of ads. So look at that. Jill's got the link in there, writingwives.com/service page/build your Shopify site with Mal and Shopify 30. Oh, nice. 9 people. And there'll be a few people from our mastermind class, I'm sure, will show up as well. So we'll get that too. And then I guess you get a discount. So there's the link. Dun, dun, dun. You should be able to copy and paste and or click it. And then there's the coupon code to get in on that. Tell your friends. It'll be a good time for all. But, I am going to just disperse into the mists. I have a call at 1, as I always do on these days. So I hope you guys have a fabulous day, a fabulous weekend, depending on when you're watching this, wherever you are in the world, whatever day it is. And I will see you all next Thursday. Ciao.